In this video, I want to explain the role of guilt in gaining consciousness, in how does guilt affect us when we want to align with our higher self. So guilt is a mechanism that came up in at the beginning of patriarchy. So societies could be controlled, not necessarily in a negative sense, but so we would be able to live amongst people who belong to different tribes, to different families, and there would, thanks to guilt, there was a certain harmony that was ensured in each particular city or country or whatever. But the thing is, guilt disempowers us. If we feel guilty, we cannot be conscious of what we do and who we are. So we cannot be aligned with self, and we cannot be in heart coherence. So I want to explain first about guilt and how it comes up. Basically, when we encounter a situation, or when we have that in which we find that we have two ideas that cannot reconcile each other. For example, if I am a good person, I cannot kill somebody. But what happens if I find myself in a situation where I kill or I hurt somebody? Then this produces an internal tension, because these two ideas, they don't encounter each other properly. They can't be reconciled in me from the perspective I am experiencing them. So this tension, this uneasiness that these two confronting ideas or situations causes is called cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is that uneasiness that produces those two ideas confronting. So the more mature thing to do would be able to get out of the current perspective in which the two ideas are in confrontation. The most evolved thing to do would be to observe these two ideas that confront each other from a higher point of view. But normally we are not able to, because if it's too big, the dissonance, the uneasiness that it causes us, we cannot acquire that higher perspective. Obviously, that higher perspective is a greater consciousness of the situation. So as you see here, there's a game between the ability to observe the situation that creates a cognitive dissonance and our ability to have a leap in consciousness. Another thing that happens because of this, what we do is we normally, the way to resolve this situation from a basic level of consciousness, if we are observing it from this same level, then what we do is we choose one side. And when we choose one side, there's another phenomena which is called confirmation bias. And thanks to confirmation bias, we stick to one side. We protect our internal feelings. We protect ourselves. We think, and if we have the confrontation of these two ideas and we're feeling bad, we think we're being attacked. There's something that is wrong and something that is dangerous for us. So we opt out for one side. And the more to protect ourselves, the more evidence on behalf of the other side, the more we ignore it. So basically what we do is we separate ourselves from the other possibility, ignoring it, thinking that has nothing to do with us, and we project that onto other people or other collectives. And that projection causes the separation that is based on guilt. So what happens is I feel that other people are guilty of or it's their fault that even though I am a good person or I am a good whatever religion I belong to, I did this bad thing, this thing which I thought was bad, but it's not my fault. It's their fault because they are the ones that did something that was bad. So every time we see that somebody has the fault of something, that somebody's doing something wrong, this is a sign that we have divided ourselves, we have fragmented ourselves via the phenomena of cognitive dissonance into, in this case, two parts. But of course we do this a lot, so we fragment ourselves a lot. And all this fragmentation of ourself is, we can say it causes like an energetic residue that lingers there. We can imagine this is the ceiling, and this is what I call the ceiling of ego. So everything we denied of ourselves via the separation that we made by attributing guilt to someone different than ourselves and not making ourselves responsible for the dissonance has created a residue, an energetic, thick energetic residue made out of guilt. Now, when we start in our journey of being conscious of ourselves, in the beginning, we're not very conscious, obviously, and we are always saying that others are guilty of whatever happens to us. It's not my fault, it's somebody else's. I'm improving myself, I'm being a better person, I'm being more civilized, I can contribute more to society, and I'm doing all these nice things, but I am still seeing other people as guilty out there, or others are guilty, we can call it responsible, but it's guilt, of, say, for example, the government is responsible for taking care of me, or my parents are responsible for the way I am now. So basically what we do is we throw guilt outside. But if we do that, that is what generates this residue. When we get to here, we inevitably crash down. So this is what happens. Like many people say, okay, I'm going to start my my journey of consciousness, and I'm going to start taking care of myself. I'm going to start being more aware of myself. So first of all, we start being aware of things like, well, I got to take care of my health. I've got to do more exercise. I've got to eat better. I have to do things that I like. But I see guilty people. And you're doing okay, but inevitably there comes a point when life says, that's it. You can't go any further without starting to assume that all the guilt you threw outside, all the things that you saw outside that were not good, you are responsible for them, because all of that are just projections of you. So remember that before I said we separate, we fragment into all sorts of little pieces. All these are little pieces of myself, which are then form part of this ceiling of ego, this ego ceiling. That one, if I want to align with myself, which would be to go through here and be here. Here I am aligned, but to be aligned, I have to assume that all the guilt, everything I saw wrong outside is actually just a reflection of a disconnection that I have inside. So inevitably, the second stage of being more conscious is to actually see everything that you projected outside. This is why I think projections, or shadow work, as it is also known, is fundamental if we want to align with ourselves. Because to be aligned, you cannot be fragmented. To be aligned, you will not see people who are bad or guilty outside. When you're aligned, you know you're responsible for your entire reality. You're responsible for creating everything that happens to you.